Hey, be sure to watch part 1 before watching this episode on Africa. The Berbers were a group of Muslim North Africans. In the 11th century, a group of Berbers devoted themselves to spreading Islam. They were called the Almoravids. They conquered modern Morocco, the Empire of Ghana, and parts of Spain. The Almohads were another group of Berbers who overthrew the Almoravids in the 1100s. Their empire spread east of the cities of Tripoli and Tunis. This empire lasted only about 100 years. Traders crossed the Sahara Desert of North Africa as early as 200 CE. The harsh desert limited trade. Then the Berbers began using camels, and trade increased. By the 700s, the rulers of the Kingdom of Ghana were growing rich. Ghana taxed the goods that traders carried through their land. The two most important trade goods were gold and salt. Gold was taken from mines and streams in the western and southern parts of West Africa and traded for salt from the Sahara region. A pound of salt could trade for a pound of gold. The Africans valued salt since you needed salt to live, and it's hot in Africa, so they sweat out a lot of salt. Without the salt, they would die. Salt is also used to preserve foods. More on that later. By the year 800, Ghana had become an empire, controlling the people of nearby lands. Over time, the Muslim merchants and traders brought their religion to Ghana. By the 11th century, the kings converted to Islam. Many common people in the empire, though, kept their traditional beliefs. Later, Ghana fell to the Almoravids of North Africa. Oh, I forgot to ask earlier when I brought up the Lion King. Why did the lion lose at poker? Because he was playing a cheetah. A cheetah! By 1235, a new kingdom began in West Africa, Mali. The rulers of Mali also adopted Islam. One of them was Mansa Musa, who some say was the richest person ever due to the gold trade.
I love gold!
The city of Timbuktu, which means heavenly clay, became a leading center of Muslim learning. The great traveler Ibn Battuta, who traveled all over Africa and Asia, and I mean vast distances, described how peaceful Mali was. Mali, though, declined in the 1400s. The next trading empire was Songhai.
Songhai.
They also grew wealthy from gold.
I love gold!
Songhai arose in the 1400s, but soon fell because its army lacked modern weapons. In 1591, Moroccan troops used gunpowder and cannons to beat Songhai soldiers who only had swords and spears. This defeat ended the period when empires ruled West Africa. The kingdom of Benin arose in the 1200s. It was located near the delta of the Niger River. Benin became a major West African state, and high walls surrounded their capital city. The huge palace contained many works of art. In the 1480s, trading ships from Portugal came into the port of Benin. Their arrival was historic. It marked the start of a long period of European involvement in Africa. Over on the east coast of Africa, cultures blended. African-speaking Bantu languages moved to this area from Central Africa. Muslim Arab and Persian traders settled in port cities along the coast. As a result, a new blended language formed called Swahili.
The Swahili word for hello is jambo.
On the Swahili coast, Arab traders sold porcelain bowls from China, jewels and cotton cloth from India in return for ivory, gold, and other African goods, which they took back to Asia. By 1300, trade was thriving in over 35 cities on the coast. Kilwa was one of the richest of these trading ports. In 1497, though, the situation changed when ships arrived on the east coast of Africa from Portugal. Portuguese sailors were looking for a route to India. They wanted to join in the trade for spices and other goods desired in Europe. Soon the Portuguese attacked Kilwa. They also attacked other trading centers along the East African coast. For the next 2 centuries, the Portuguese remained a powerful force in the region. Muslim traders also sold slaves from the East African coast. These slaves were brought to markets in areas such as Arabia and Persia. Some slaves did household tasks. Others were sent to India to be soldiers. This slave trade was small, with only about 1,000 slaves a year being traded. The later European-run slave trade was much larger. We'll get to that later. In southern Africa, a great city-state arose in the 11th century. The Shona people grew crops in their rich land and raised cattle, and they traded items like ivory. Walls were a sign of wealth for their king, as illustrated in the city of Great Zimbabwe. Hey, did you know that Great Zimbabwe means Great Stone House?
Perhaps.
Now you know. Great Zimbabwe linked the inland gold fields with the trading cities on the coast and beyond to India and China. In fact, money from Kilwa was found in Great Zimbabwe 1,000 miles away. From the 1200s through the 1400s, the city controlled this gold trade. Around 1450 CE, the people abandoned the great city. No one knows why. One explanation is that overuse had destroyed the grasslands, soil, and timber. The Matapa Empire followed. It began around 1420 CE. It made up almost all of the land of modern Zimbabwe. This empire gained wealth from its gold. In the 1500s, the Portuguese moved in. They failed to conquer the empire, but later took over the government. The Portuguese wouldn't be the last European power to have their eye on Africa.
Goodbye. Kwaheri.
Today's episode was brought to you by the letter A.
I love gold!